Good morning, YouTube family. I was attempting to record this video the other day. However, there were some technical difficulties and I wasn't able to get my Hangouts all set up. So I'm still working on that. However, I had some information that I wanted to share with you all, and I hope you like it. So here we see one of our ancient goddesses, Isis. Okay, and she is one of the most important deities of ancient Egypt. Isis held several roles. Not only was she a principal deity in the rites connected with the dead, but she was also a magical healer. And as a mother figure in Abirter of fertility rites, she was a role model for women. Isis was the daughter of the earth, of Geb, and the sky goddess Nut, and was married to Osiris, king of Egypt, whom she restored a mummy after his brother Seth threw him in the Nile and then chopped him into pieces. The reason I want to bring attention to this is because I feel like we don't talk about the ancient goddesses as much as we should. But I mean, I know we have other YouTube channels that actually do speak of this goddess here in reference to, the flat earth where, Geb and the sky goddess Nut. So we are familiar with that. But I'll just go through and just share what I've actually found and hope you like it. So let's move on. So yeah, that's our goddess Isis. Next, we'll be looking into the goddess Durga. Now, Durga is one of the Hindu goddesses, okay? And she's considered the mother of the universe. If you can see here, it says it's only right that such a powerful deity have at least 8 arms, rides a lion, and be able to defeat demons that other gods cannot. Okay? So it's also fitting that the beautiful protective warrior goddess have a festival in her honor each year. Durga Puja is celebrated primarily in eastern India during the harvest season. Look at that. It almost looks like she's on the flat earth and the goddess Durga being the sky almost. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting. And we'll move on. Next is going to talk about one of the goddesses that were pretty interesting to me. And I was actually speaking to another YouTuber on a panel in reference to this goddess, and I couldn't get her name correct, but this is the one that I was speaking of, and she's quite interesting if you ask me. It says a primordial component of early religions was the cult of the mother goddesses, who represented earth, fertility, and all aspects of creation. In honor of Earth Day, time takes a look at some of the more interesting mama deities. And now we get into Nagua, and she's depicted as a woman with the body of a snake. She's also been depicted in other ways other than having a snake body, but it says she has a head. She has a human head, but the body of a snake or also a fish. In Chinese mythology, Nagua, in one story, Nagua were considered first human beings on earth, was the patroness of matchmakers, meaning she established the norms for marriage and developed the rules of conduct between the sexes. But she did much more than that. If heaven need refurbishing, Nugora fixed them. Corners of earth broken, Nugora brought her toolkit of a and melted down stones. She even built a palace made with materials prepared by mountain spirits. So these mother deities in ancient history played quite a big role in fashioning the way that people viewed the universe and how that all was held together. Let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to get into the mother goddess Gaia, and this is a Greek goddess. Here in this depiction, her face is a little distorted. As a lot of ancient figures we have come upon, we've noticed that a lot of the features have been have been broken or destroyed for some reason. But anyway, it says, while an ancient Greek poet Hesiod didn't use the words Captain Planet to describe Gaia, if anyone deserves the title, it's her. Hesiod writes in his Theology that she showed up after, but is not the child of chaos. Broad bosom earth Gaia, standing place for all. The gods who lived on snowy Olympus peak creates the sky, the mountains, and the sea. The sky, that sky, Uranus, and equal to herself, is not just her offspring, he also becomes her husband. Despite this, she has won a rightful spot on another of our list, best moms. So, again, in regards to the earth, her being having connection with the earth, and then being married to not just one of her offspring, but also becoming Uranus, the sky, becoming her husband. So, speaking as in relation that they're together, like the earth and the sky are one. And that's another reference to how these ancient goddesses and saw our world and our earth as them being one existence or realm, should I say. Okay. And we'll move on. Okay. So don't beat me up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pronounce this one correctly, but I think it's Kotlik. And this goddess, look at that. Kotlik is multifaceted. As Kotlik, she is the Aztec earth goddess, creator and destroyer of earth, mother of gods and mortals, the one who gave birth to the moon and stars. But she is also one Tetanonin, the mother of the gods. Toki, our grandmother, she Akuta, the fearsome goddess of childbirth and patron of those women who die in birth. Totanazin, our mother, can't pronounce that one, the goddess of sexual impurity and wrongful behavior, and simply snake woman. Additionally, she is also known as the goddess of fire and fertility, of life, death, and rebirth, and the mother of the southern stars. Fitting for a goddess of such vast meaning and responsibility, her appearance is complex. As snakes symbolize fertility, her face is said to have been of two-fanged serpent, her skirt of interwoven snakes, her breasts are depicted as flabby, for she's nourished many, and as earth consumes all who die, her necklace is made of human hearts. Ooh. And a skull. Yeah, not exactly the portrait of a loving mother. However, let's just look at the picture here. What they're saying. Oh, look at the necklace of the hearts. That's quite interesting. Another powerful deity in history. Another goddess. Important in her time and in her own way. There says here, destroyer of earth, mother of gods and mortals. Like speaking of like Mother Nature and such an important role she plays in our existence. This would be my interpretation of what all that actually means. To give life, to take away, to grow, to heal, all of those things. And let's move on here. Okay, Ninsun. This is another mother goddess, and look at that picture there. It looks almost like the how the ancient Hebraics or the how their hair looked on their depictions and statues and things. You can tell it was curly. Okay. Ninsun means lady willow cow, which implies bovine form. But the Sumerians, that's the word I was thinking of, the ancient Sumerians. But the Sumerian deity was actually called many things: the flawless cow, the wild cow of enclosure. The wild cow of the enclosure. Yep, the Hebrew, the ancient Sumerians did depict the earth as being in an enclosure, an enclosed system. The mother of good offspring that loves the offspring. It said that she was the divine power behind the qualities that herdsmen hoped for in their own cows. But she wasn't just in cow-like form, she was also represented in human form and could actually give birth to humans, including, legend has it, to Gilgamesh, one of the great mythical Mesopotamian kings. That's interesting. That is interesting. Very interesting information here, guys. Want to do a little bit more research into any of these goddesses? You can always look it up on this website, content.time.com, and there's a little bit more information if you want to go into that. But we'll continue here. And you got to excuse me for recording this on a mobile device, but I really wanted to just bring this information to my page. I will be getting a little bit more technical and sharp soon. Bear with me. And this is Aseya. I've seen depictions of the ancients wearing this white powder on them, but we'll go ahead and see. The Akan people of West Africa regard Aseya as Mother Earth, the mother goddess of fertility and the upholder of truth. When a member of the Akan tribe wants to prove his credibility, he touches his lips to the soil. Another tradition holds that because Thursday is reserved as Aseya's day, the Akan generally abstain from tilling the land on that day. I've seen them actually kiss the earth, as in giving Mother Earth a kiss to receive that blessing from her. Wonderful. It's really interesting. Look at the jewelry that they made themselves. Pretty interesting. I like that. Let's move on here. Asizya. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay. And we have here depicted goddess Danu. Danu is said to have literally suckled the gods. In Irish mythology, she is the mother of the earth, the gods, fertility, wisdom, wind, and all of the Celtic people. The story of Danu lingers with her offspring, Tuatha Dinan, or people of the gods. Danu, who in Irish folklore are known as the fairy people who are skilled in magic. And you know what, even when they mention things like this in ancient cosmologies and, they speak on the mythologies, I happen to think that a lot of that stuff is based in fact. I mean, you can disagree with me, but however, I just think that there's a little bit too much evidence that we've seen to support that claim. But I'll continue. When the Tuatha Dinan, tongue twister, reached Ireland's shores to wage war against the Fir Bolg, a race of evil giants, Danu provided them sustenance, life, and law. And such does our Mother Earth. She provides sustenance, life, and law. And as long as you respect those laws and respect life, she shall sustain you. I like that one. Let's move on. Almost done here. Alrighty. Artemis. That's an interesting depiction there. It says here, being born into the mythical equivalent of a modern day dynasty has meant that Artemis has lingered in memory. A key deity in Greek myth, she was the daughter of Zeus and Leto, and the twin sister of Apollo, the sun god. Most commonly thought of as the goddess of the hunt, she is often depicted with a quiver full of arrows and accompanied by a deer or a bear. However, Artemis could also refer to a number of other deities depending on the time period or the religion, and many of them had more nurturing role. Had a more nurturing role. The Ephesian Artemis, revered in modern day Turkey, for example, was originally worshipped as a great mother goddess and predated the Artemis that was eventually revered in Greece. Later on, Artemis filled another mother role, sometimes being associated with childbirth rites and rites of fertility. Okay, I've actually heard of this goddess before. Pretty interesting. And look at all the circular things on her chest. Alrighty. And our last one is coming up now. Here we go. And Frigga. I've never heard of this goddess, but we'll go ahead and see what she's about. Looks like she's riding a chariot there. Or is she spinning some type of, I don't know. Frigga, wife of Odin, is a matronly figure in Norse mythology, associated with the hearth, the mead hall, and childbirth. But while that seems a boring portfolio, it is an important one given the violence and the instability of Scandinavia in the Dark Ages. Frigga is also remembered in the context of her spinning wheel. I knew it was something that she was twining there. Twining the threads of fate that tie all humanity. Another depiction of a goddess in ancient history who is twining or knitting or binding existence to the earth and the sky. So guys, I want to thank you all for bearing with me through this. And again, if you want to go ahead and look at some of this information, you can find it on the top 10 earth goddesses or on content.time.com. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'll be having a little bit more cleaner updates coming up and, getting a little bit better. As I mentioned, I'm new to this, so just bear with me. And thank you all for joining me. For those who did come by and spend some time with me, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment and a heart. And I'll see you next time in my next video. All right, peace and flat power and flat earth unity. It's been great spending time with you guys. All right, peace.